Hey everybody, it's Mark from Mark's Home Hobbies. How you doing today? I'm just fine. I just wanted to show you a little something I did here on the CNC machine. This is called a temp jig. In other words, when I want to do a few of these different cutting boards right here, I just took some hot glue and I glued up a couple of these shims here. Once I had the 0 point set right there on the corner of that wood right there, so I not only have my y-axis setting, but I have my my x-axis setting and my y-axis. Excuse me. Then all I need to do is set the Z, which is pretty easy, as I explained before. You can do that over here in the control program using the little set Z function over there. If you have that available, I have it available on this machine, so I can raise it and lower it as I want, which makes it handy for focusing in the laser just where you want it. So as you can see, it's doing a pretty good job. I have it up on full power here, and this is bamboo wood, which is pretty hard to engrave actually with a laser. It takes a lot of power to do it, and the little ones can do it, but you got to run them pretty slow. This here is running at say right around 500 millimeters per minute. So that's pretty fast for this big machine right here. This thing's kind of clunky and big, even though it does run on belts. That's the only saving grace. It has a lot of mass right here in this area. If I don't take this off, this trim router, it has a lot of weight, going back and forth, so it has a hard time starting fast, which I've solved slightly by going in the gerbil configuration on the machine here, which is another nice feature about laser gerbil. You can go in there and connect to the firmware and make adjustments to the firmware. So I turned down the planning setting just a little bit so that it gives it a little bit more time to make the decision on planning. So that, basically let's call it the jerk setting. It makes the machine less jerky, makes it run a little bit slower, but it's a trade-off. Either it jerks around like crazy and wiggles and does crazy stuff, or it does what you want it to do. Another thing I wanted to show you too is, since this machine, you can probably hear it going in the background, but it's only running on low speed right now, and this job right here doesn't really produce much smoke. It only has just a little bit of engraving on there and a lot of off time. So anyways, it's probably not a real good example to show because it doesn't produce much smoke, but any smoke that it is producing is getting sucked up into this thing right here. Let's zoom out a little bit here. I'll show you what I did. That's a we'll call it a basement hillbilly smoke extractor. It's got a 10 by 20 filter on there. Bought it at Home Depot for $5. It's got a 20 by 20 box fan, 3-speed. Then on the back side here, you can see I've enclosed the top half of the fan. So what that forces it to do is it forces the air to come in here, circulate through the box, and then blow out right there. So yeah, anyhow, we'll see how that works. If I got to change it around a little bit, I think I should probably put this on the wrong side. I probably should have it on the opposite side, but very easy to change. Seems to work good the way it is. Pulls a lot of smoke. Yeah, so any smoke that does come off of here, it gets trapped up into here, and then it goes inside this box right here, which has some ventilation to the outside through the cracks in the little ceiling thing there. I didn't foam all the way to the end, so it has a slight bit of ventilation in there, which I don't mind it if it smells a little like smoke down here. I just don't want the whole area to be smoky. Yeah, everything else is working good. You can see I'm still in the process of cleaning tools. Yeah, and there's the scrap that I found. I don't know if I mentioned this wire too that was in there. Pretty good sized wire. And then all these bits. Yeah, they're this was scrap right here that a friend of mine gave me. A couple of really nice syringes there for all-purpose stuff. You can use that for squirting glue or whatever. A little bit of #1 copper right there, which is nice. That's probably about $5 worth. A couple of nice old dial gauges right here. This is a dial indicator. Mount that on your machine and run it across the track to find any imperfections. This is an old temperature gauge. Yeah. Thermometer, some people would call it. That's a bunch of brass right there. Some sheet brass. Brass is pretty expensive now. It's like $2.10 a pound. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably about maybe close to $10 worth of brass. All this included right here. And I don't know what these bits go for. High-speed steel or carbide or something, or I don't know. It's got to be pretty expensive though. There's a couple of nice Forstner bits in here. That's a pretty good one right there. I don't know how good they are, you know, the sharpness of them. I'd have to test them out. I know that this smaller one right here looks like it's pretty good. This one here though, it looks burnt. There you go, you can see the burnt around the edges. So probably not usable for anything good anyways, if you wanted to do some quality work. So anyways, yeah, I've got that stuff. A guy just give me the bag full of it, probably $15 full of scrap right there, maybe, if I'm lucky. Yeah. And yeah, so just continuing on cleaning up in the workshop here. I'd say I've done a fairly good job so far. This used to be all a bunch of pile of garbage over here, and now it's not so much. I still got to work on this area right over here. Hand tools. Thinking about putting some permanent shelves in, getting rid of that little white shelving unit that's about ready to fall over, and put some permanent shelves in there so that way I can just put those hand tools in the shelves and get rid of all those extra boxes. This is some electrical supplies and things like that in those boxes there. Again, there's the gallery of treasures. Yep. If you haven't seen that before. There's the semi-organized tool section over here. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting better. See, I've got my thermometer and my humidity detector there, and clamps. I got some more clamps too. I got to get them all out here. I'm contemplating putting flat wall in here instead of pegboard. I don't really think I need any more pegboard, so I think I'm just gonna cover over it. Put some insulation in there, maybe. I don't know. Why bother? It's just the downstairs wall. We got these lights right here that kind of light up the place a little bit. Let's see, where's the switch? That would be good. You can see I put the drill press and the bandsaw over here for the time being. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, you can see you got the lights, and you can move them however you want, and it lights up this area pretty good. Then if you need light over here, you can always, you know, put the light right on your work over here. See what you're doing here. I think those are in a pretty good spot right there. And then this machine, I can take it and put it down here. The little 3D printer machine over here, this one here, the SLA. I think I'm going to put it over there. Looks like a pretty good spot for it. And then this one here can sit down over here. And then put some other stuff up on the wall there. Maybe some race cars or something. I think I'm going to move that power strip too. It's kind of not very handy right up there. Not as handy as I thought it would be. I had it down here before, but it was interfering with work that I was doing on the bench. So I had to move it from there. So I think what I'll do is I'll put it right up against the wall there. That seems like it'd be a better spot and get to it easier. Up there is nice because the cords hang down and are out of the way, but down here it'd be easier to reach. So anyhow, yeah, another little video. Still working downstairs in the shop, getting her clean. Basically, this area out here, I've been working like crazy out here too, just to get it to this point. I think I showed this before. Yeah, so anyhow, I got some work ahead of me still. I got to organize all this section, and then this stuff right here, I need to go through all this too and find out exactly what's what. So anyhow, if you stuck around this long and watch me try to tame the junk pile, thanks a lot. If you're a new subscriber, really appreciate it. If you're an old subscriber and you're still sticking around, thank you so much. I think it's about time for me to turn the city hillbilly basement dwelling creator mechanic smoke eater up on full speed here, because I'm starting to smell smoke. So, with those words, I will say this is Mark with Mark's Home Hobby saying, have a fine day and a finer one tomorrow. Bye-bye.